In this video, I'll be showing you 5 common kaftan mistakes and how to avoid them. So the first on the list is the shoulder wrinkling, as you will see in these pictures beneath, right? So this is a way to avoid it. So the reason you're having the wrinkle on the shoulder is because the shoulder slope, as you can see in this my demo kaftan front, is not well sloped. So the depth of the shoulder slope should be the same as the neck depth, or about 1/4 of an inch beneath the neck depth. So this is what I'm talking about. So your shoulder slope should either be on the same level with the neck depth or 1/4 of an inch lower than the neck depth. So when you do it that way, it's going to happen that instead of the clothes literally falling on the wearer's body, the wearer's body is going to carry the clothes. So the camera can focus on it. So what I'm saying now is that instead of the clothes, like, for example, you cut the shoulder slope to go straight, it means you are calculating that the clothes is going to be angled this way. So by the time it is falling on the person's body, then it's going to create that crease, right? But if it is well cut and the body is carrying the clothes, you get it. So it's going to eradicate the wrinkles on this chest region of the kaftan. Next on the list is sleeve wrinkling. So you see some sleeves that wrinkles so much. So the reason for that is because of the sleeve cap, right? So one rule I have given myself, right, is that the sleeve cap, which is going to be the height between this part and the highest point on the sleeve, should be, distance between this part should be about 3 inches less than your armhole. By armhole, I mean the height, using the front panel, the distance between this armpit point and the highest point, I mean the shoulder height, right? So to eradicate this crease, this excessive crease, is to ensure that the sleeve cap height is sufficient enough, right? Then having done that, I also go ahead to slightly trim the front part of the sleeve. So this is how we have the sleeve looking 100% of the time when you cut it, right? But then again, I will just slightly trim the front of the sleeve. So doing this now is going to eradicate some excess chunk of fabric. Of course, it is the excess fabric that is folding. So by the time I now further take out the fabric, right, it reduces the excess chunk and reduces the wrinkling. Now you might have this question in your mind, right? Why can't we cut both the front and the back? So the way the human body works, I can put my hands together in front, and by the time I put my hands together in front, you will realize that I've taken some excess fabric from the back. So you see, I've already properly stretched out everything at the back. But now I can't take my hand to the back that way. Now, by the time, it's even not a normal human movement, right? Except for those who are doing gymnastics. But by the time you want to hug, it's a movement you have to do. So by the time you decide, if you decide to trim both the front and the back to that same narrow point, what you have is that the cloth is going to restrict the wearer's movement when he wants to make certain movements of his hand. Also, if you are making a long sleeve cloth, if you overly narrow down this sleeve cap, what you would have is the difficulty with the person folding his elbow, because by the time we fold our elbows, right, this is a short sleeve kaftan, so it's not so obvious. By the time we fold our elbows, we kind of shorten the length of the sleeve, because you have this elbow trying to take some part of the sleeve. So you find out that your sleeve is going to get shorter, so the elbow is pulling both from the cuff area, that's the wrist part, and it's also pulling from the back. So you see situations whereby somebody is trying to receive a phone call, and because his clothes is so tight, he has to move his hand this way. It's because the cut around the elbow is bad, and also the back is also too narrow. So the next on the list, the third, is going to be pokering around the placket. So there are 2 ways to avoid that. One way is after you've gotten your placket ready, you can just put an adhesive tape, hemming gum, glue it to it, right, and proceed to sew. So that way you take out the creases. Another way is when you are fixing the placket, slightly pull on the kaftan, on the cloth itself, while fixing the placket. Number 4 on my list would be the armhole cutting too deep into the wearer's armpit. So of course, it's just to expand the armhole. Once you elongate this is what I mean, this is the armhole. Once you give more room here, of course, you create more space around the armhole. Another issue is when the armhole tears regularly. So your customers always complain that the clothes tears in the armpit. It's usually common with children's clothes, because those guys are usually restless. They make all manner of movement. So one frequent cause of that is that the armhole is too low. Now let's experiment. So imagine this is my armhole and I'm tucking this shirt now. Now I've held it firmly in place and I'm trying to raise my hand. You see, it's restricting my movement. So by the time I now have to force it out, something that has to go wrong. So if it is fixed to my waist and I'm trying to stretch out, it's either it tears from here or it tears from down. So by the time the armhole is too deep into the wearer's armpit, now it is his body, not like his belt holding it. So his skin, his body is literally restricting the movement of the hand, and the child is stronger than the thread holding the clothes. So by the time he has to make that movement, he's going to force it and it's going to rip apart in the armhole region. And last on the list is going to be puckering around this bottom part of the kaftan. One way to solve that is to put adhesive tape. Let me go while sewing. So let's just compare this. See the finishing on this part of the agbada. Now compare to this other part. So you can see this part is laying flat well. This one seems to have some form of irregularities around it. So when sewing the kaftan, you can put adhesive tape on the bottom of it, right? And also, when you do that, also avoid placing the iron directly on the surface of the fabric. Thank you for watching. Do follow.